Hello there, my name's Cathy Lamb and I am Director of Music Performance at Lichfield Cathedral School, and I'm also in charge of a programme called Music Share. I actually am a professionally trained classical organist. That's where my roots are really, but I've sort of come a little bit more into singing for young students and sort of big singing programmes out in the community. So that's sort of where I ended up. Where did I come from? So I was really lucky to have a brilliant state school education, but then I took up the organ when I was 12, and so I actually shifted school at sixth form to go to a private school because I wanted to pursue the choral and organ side of things. And then after that I took my gap year as an organ scholar at Salisbury Cathedral, and of course at the time there weren't that many women doing it. There are lots more now. So I was in fact the first female organ scholar at Salisbury. And then I went to Cambridge, and actually the college I went to, Sydney, Sussex, to do music had a long string of female organists, which was really unusual at the time. So that was great. So I did 3 years there, and that was quite useful because I chose to go to a college where actually there was no director of music at the time. So the organ scholars took on the running of the chapel choir, which is fantastic because that gave me a real sense of sort of how to lead and how to organise. So I organised a choir tour to America when I was 19. So lots of brilliant experiences there. Then after university I got married pretty immediately, and so I moved back down towards Salisbury and was both at Wells Cathedral for 3 days a week, helping them out in their music department at the cathedral, and also I founded a girls' choir at Christchurch Priory, which is one of the greater churches in the country. And so I had lots and lots of brilliant experiences. I also ran the Bournemouth Symphony Youth Chorus, and that's where I really started to understand that I really enjoyed the choir directing, and particularly with young singers. So when a job came up at Lichfield Cathedral, which was a mixture of running a project which was using Sing Up funding, which was a big singing initiative by the government, and also organist at the cathedral, it was a really lovely job of all sorts of things and working with the girls' choir. So I came to Lichfield, and then I've been here in various guises over 18 years, and I'm now at the school full-time. And I get to run the ensembles, the concerts, the scholars. I don't do curriculum teaching. I'm not a qualified teacher, which is possibly one of the things I regret. I would like to have done a PGCE, but actually I have a huge amount of teaching experience, and I have a really lovely job because what I get to do is, so I run all those things at the cathedral school, but I also run our singing schools programme. We are, I think, the largest Anglican singing schools outreach programme in the country. We work with about 150 schools a year, SEND, secondary, primary, and then we have 5 outreach choirs, ranging from 3 to 99, which is great, and we have a Ukrainian choir, so I have a huge breadth of things I do, which is fantastic, and it's a real joy, and I think it's a real privilege because actually I am in a settled career, so obviously I'm not peripatetic. I actually do have a fixed salary, which is fantastic. There's a real security to that, but I sort of do work quite peripatetically in how I do things, because obviously my week varies from one day to the next. I'm just looking what other questions. Barriers. I don't think I really have had any barriers. I have always obviously had people go, oh gosh, female organist, you don't see those very often, but actually in recent years there are so many more, so that's sort of going away. And I think more, it really bothered me. I didn't want to have been appointed because I was female. I wanted to have been appointed because I was the right person for the job, and so obviously being female, running girls' choirs and that sort of things, definitely helped, so it was definitely a bonus. But no, I've not really had any barriers to my learning. I guess mainly perhaps early days I had been a church chorister, but I hadn't been a cathedral chorister. I hadn't really ever done psalms before, which is something we had to accompany a lot. So, you know, I guess barriers perhaps in terms of the skills I had that I had to sort of get good at quite quickly when I was a bit older, that perhaps if I'd been a cathedral chorister or something like that, I might have had the opportunities to do those things. But actually I've been really, really privileged, which is really great. I love my job. I love the variety. I love the fact that I get to work with all ages and abilities. I'm really lucky that I can still do loads of high-end music making. I do still try and keep my own playing going. I do get to still give organ recitals across the country, and that's really fantastic. It's really hard to juggle motherhood, huge diary of all sorts of things going on both at school and with the outreach programme, and then obviously my own practice. To be honest, the practice is probably the thing that gets the looking least, which is a shame, but I do get to do lots of accompanying of high-end students and all sorts of things, so I still get to do all of that side of things. So I guess, to be honest, the biggest difficulty is juggling all of those things. It's not the easiest, but if you're well organised and enjoy being busy and thrive on, crazy life, then I would suggest this is the one for you.